To any Brentford fans who are watching this video, may I be the first to say well done on winning today. I'm going to be very gracious in the defeat because you guys set up really well. You dominated the first half. West Ham had to go 1-0 down to get going, and that's been quite a recurring theme for us this season. I thought that West Ham may have been better in the second half, but you guys won it with the last kick in the game. And, well, we won with the last kick of the game pretty much at Leeds last week. So, you know, football's got its way of doing that to you. But Brentford fans, look, your club's really well run. You're really well organised on the pitch. You've got a great manager. The fans really get behind the team. You know, saw all the passion from the away end. You guys got 3 points today. And ultimately, you did deserve it. Your first half performance was excellent. But since this is a West Ham channel, I've got to talk about how West Ham played. And that's going to be the main topic of Aftermath. It has finished West Ham United 1, Brentford 2 at the London Stadium in what was a combination of both half break and no surprise. Because, look, Brentford absolutely controlled that first half. And although West Ham were the better team in the second half, it was a case of missed chances FC, wasted chances. Having to go 1-0 down to get going again, which has been a very common West Ham trait that still needs to be rectified, in my opinion, and conceding with the last kick of the game. The biggest thing for me was the lack of rotation in the team. The whole team played on Thursday as well, and a lot of players still look very leggy and a bit tired. And this is why we need rotation. We have the depth, but not the rotation. And people will argue we haven't got squad depth this season. We did. We do have more squad depth than what we've had in previous years, especially under our current ownership. But we're not rotating it. Moyes needs to stop playing the same starting 11. I think that was one hindrance today. Playing the same team with the same formation and the same personnel. Because, you know, we're getting sussed out now. So we've got to change things up a little bit. And thankfully, we've got an international break now to reconsider our options going forward. So, as per usual with these Aftermath videos, I'm going to start with West Ham starting lineup and talk about the team. It was back to the usual starting 11 that's been the same players since, I don't know how long now we are into the season, but it was the same lineup. I mean, it's a strong lineup. It's a strong starting 11, don't get me wrong. But it's still the same people. And, you know, some of those players even played in the Europa League the other day. And they were probably still a bit tired. You know, you can't ask too much of the guys. I mean, everyone's got to be prepared. But there's a difference between, you know, playing the players all the time and then rotating them. And we need to have some squad rotation now. One thing that I will say is, well, two things I'll say actually. Sofal played despite rumours that he was hurt. And Souček kept his place in the team. I'm going to say it again, Souček has disappointed me since about I don't know, maybe let's say, since about week 3 of the season. Because he's been really off pace. He hasn't been contributing as much. He hasn't been defensively good enough. He doesn't put a lot of effort into set pieces anymore. And our set pieces right now aren't great. And that was one thing that we became known for last season. And so Souček is making a case right now to be dropped. But Moyes still stuck with the same 11. Is Moyes, I'm not going to say Moyes is arrogant, but he's got this thing where he's too scared to make changes for some reason. And that's going to be something that's I've just foreshadowed that I'm going to be talking about towards the end of the video. He started the same 11 today. And although there was optimism about the players that he'd selected, when you look back at it, it probably wasn't the right decision. It did come actually as a surprise to me how quick Brentford were to start off fast in the game. And in the first 3 minutes, there were 2 chances. Bryan Mbuemo chipped the crossbar and headed wide. Fabianski did deny Ivan Toney as well. Brentford were on top. And I knew that Brentford were going to be dominating from the top because they have the 2-striker system where Mbueno's like the feeder striker and Toney's the more clinical one. And he is some player, as I've said before. And already, those two were causing problems for West Ham. And Brentford are an attacking team. So I'll probably take back what I said earlier, saying that I was surprised. I kind of was and I wasn't surprised, if that makes sense, because I expected Brentford to come out and actually give it to West Ham a little bit. But West Ham looked very leggy. A lot of players looked leggy in the team and were second best. Souček looked leggy. Fornals looked a bit off. Sofal looked a bit off as well. Not even sure he should have played 100%. Zuma headed wide from a corner when West Ham did actually get a set piece, but it was Brentford who took the lead in the game, and deservedly so. Wasn't shocked when they scored. West Ham were all over the place, really. Sergi Canos was allowed to run through. Fabianski's bit of bad goalkeeping here, really. You could argue that he couldn't do much about it, but I think he could have done better with this. He parried the ball. He could have actually parried that gently, got it under control and then got onto it, but he parried it right into Mbuemo. Mbuemo managed to put it just over the line despite Fabianski's attempts to clear it. And from that point onwards, Brentford had control of the first half. They did anyway before, but they had even more control through that goal. Declan Rice was being contained after that in midfield. He wasn't able to get balls off of Brentford and get them back in the other way. Player had to come off for Brentford. Baptiste had to come off on Kane Jensen. They won a free kick just outside the area after Zuma fouled Tony. The wall blocked it, thankfully, but it's a very dangerous position as well. Not even sure it really was a foul by Zuma. I think he did have good intention to win the ball. I thought it was a dodgy decision to give it. Every single time Brentford were supposedly fouled, players went down, and referee just gave everything in Brentford's favour pretty much. And the referee was a big factor in this game, let's be honest, but he wasn't the complete be-all and end-all as to why West Ham lost. But he did have a role to play, particularly in the first half, because there were quite a few fouls that he misjudged as fouls when they really weren't. The only good thing to come off of it was there were some livelier moments from West Ham towards the end of that half, but no attack and no intent, no use of space either. Everyone was closed down too quickly. West Ham weren't playing loosely enough, if that makes sense. Everyone was too close to the ball and doing short passes. And even just to clear the ball away, West Ham weren't doing it methodically as they have done with a system of attack. It was just hoofing the ball in down the middle, hoofing the ball down the middle and hoping someone would win the header. Souček wasn't getting it. I'll tell you that now. He wasn't heading anything, really. He was static. The whole team was a bit static. And Moyes needed to give them a massive Charlie at half-time. The half-time team talk must have stayed in the players' heads because that second half was much, much better than the first by West Ham standards. Way better second half. Everyone looked more energetic. Everyone looked a bit more awake and cognizant of the game. Benrahma had a free kick tipped over. Everybody looked a lot more tighter and organised. Players were starting to talk with one another more and everyone was working off of each other. And David Raya was forced to deny Jarrod Bowen. But one thing that was also prominent in the second half was that although West Ham did create around 7 chances by the 70-minute mark, the referee was still playing a role in this game in the sense that he allowed Brentford to time waste taking goal kicks. He gave fouls still that weren't fouls. There was one particular incident where there was meant to be a foul on David Raya. Antonio was supposed to have fouled him. Raya dropped the ball on Antonio's head. The referee gave a goal kick to Brentford. He dropped the ball on Antonio's head with Antonio having no role in the supposed foul. So that made no sense to me at all. But there definitely was more about West Ham's game. Fornals' shot was blocked. Kofal was wide with his follow-up. And that was frustrating. This was like mischance FC all over again. Missing too many chances is what's cost West Ham in the past. I think back to the Burnley game at home in July 2020. I think back to other games where we've lost and we've been very wasteful. And this was a case of that again. I mean, with less than 10 minutes to go, Jarrod Bowen did actually score an equaliser and get his first goal for West Ham this season. It's been deserved and a long time coming. There was a corner that Souček headed into Bowen's path. Bowen on the half volley struck it past Raya. Raya was obstructed by a West Ham player and didn't even react to the ball. He didn't even see it coming through. the traffic, but it was a deserved goal and really a deserved equaliser. And at that stage, I thought West Ham were going to go on and win the game. Still, though, West Ham didn't make any substitutions and didn't bring on fresh legs. Vlasic needs some game time, as we know. Alex Král is yet to make a Premier League appearance. And someone like Lanzini was needed just to keep the midfield consistent. So those players is what I would have expected to bring on. And I would have taken off Souček for sure. I would have taken off Fornals. And I may have been tempted probably to take off someone like Bowen, had he not scored. That was an arrogant thing of David Moyes, and that was a really bad thing to do. He didn't make any substitutions all game. We used to bring on Yarmolenko, for goodness sake, and even that would have been something. But he didn't make any subs. I don't care that it was 1-1 and the game was going in West Ham's favour and that West Ham were the team on top. He needed to make substitutions, and he didn't do it. And that was one very costly error. I mean, Jan Visser came on, off came Mbuemo. Onyeka came off, on came Bidstrup for Brentford. West Ham still put more pressure on though. A cross came in. Souček and Antonio were closest to the ball, but they missed the headers. Really good stuff nonetheless. But West Ham conceded a free kick close to their own penalty area on 90 plus 4th minute. I personally didn't really think it was supposed to have been given, but as soon as that was given, I thought, oh shit, we're going to concede from this. I know what's coming now. Fabianski should have done better with this. He punched the ball straight into the danger zone and Visser struck it into the net. 2-1. Brentford took 3 points with the last kick of the game. Surely could have caught that and not parried it into danger. Really. And you could say that Brentford just sat back and did nothing and let West Ham come into them for about 60 odd minutes in that game. Which is true. It's like what Tony Pulis' Stoke City or Bournemouth's even did in the past, but the referee allowed time wasting for Brentford. There were 3 minutes stoppage time, but the way it was going and the fact that Declan Rice went down with cramp in that time, that didn't work in West Ham's favour either. We've got 2 weeks to rest up now because we've got the international break. We've got players like Souček, Sofal, Rice, Král as well. He's off on international duty. Players like that were going off to play for the respective countries. We need to have squad rotation because the depth is there. I know people are going to say, oh, we've got no backup striker, we've got no depth. Moyes talks about competition in the team, but he doesn't promote that when he keeps playing the same players. So that's why we need squad rotation. That's why we need to keep mixing and matching to give opponents a bit of a guessing game. But losing 2-1 to Brentford was heartbreaking stuff nonetheless. Look, they deserved the win in the end, I think. And although I'm upset and gutted to have lost the game, West Ham weren't good enough in that first half. And we've got some tough games coming up now. We've got to play Everton, Spurs and Aston Villa next. Everton's going to be tough. Spurs, what I'm nervous about because it's a derby. And Villa are a team that are no mugs. So, we go again in 2 weeks' time when we face Everton. Thank you very much for watching this episode of The Aftermath. If you like the video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe for more content. Yeah, we've got international football coming up, so you won't be seeing me doing these kind of videos for 2 weeks. But I'm going to have loads of other content on the channel, and I'm going to be having loads of videos. I'll still be active, and I'll have loads of stuff for you to post, so tune in for more. Thank you very much for watching, take care, and I'll see you all soon.